Okay, the last one I'm going to show you, and I'm going to throw one extra one on here just for fun too, because I mean, this getting rid of decimals and fractions is sometimes a new idea. And I want to throw a couple weird scenarios in just to make sure you can handle those if they happen. 1.3x minus 5.14 equals 2.25. What's the most number of decimal places in here? 2. Okay, so this only has 1, this has 2, this has 2. So again, that's in my book. What's going to go on my paper is 1.30x minus 5.14 equals 2.25. Once I get everything with 2 decimal places, now the decimals get dropped off. So I get 130x minus 514 is equal to 225. And I'm at a point now where I can solve the equation. There's no decimals in it. I've got a minus 514. Subtraction, addition has to be dealt with first. So plus 514 to both sides. Plus 514 here is for cancellation purposes. Plus 514 here because that's what's required if I change the left-hand side. I've got to change the right-hand side the same way. That gets me 130x is equal to 739. Okay, so what's left to do then is divide by 130. Okay, so x equals 739. 130th. And again, the possibility of reduction is there. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But let's just take it. The smaller number is 130, right? That's 13 times 10. 10 is 2 times 5. 13 is prime. So, does 2 go into 739?
No.
Does 5?
No.
Obviously no. What about 13?
Yes.
Does it? How many times? 5.
Lots.
53.
89.
50. Wait.
Are you sure it does?
739.
Were you saying yes because you thought it was, or?
Divided by 13.
It's not even.
It's not evenly?
It's 56.84615.
So it doesn't divide evenly? Alright. So again, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I didn't know. But yeah, obviously 2 doesn't because it's not even, 5 doesn't because it doesn't end in 0 or 5. 13 is one that doesn't have a divisibility rule, so if you just type in your calculator 739 divided by 13 equals, it comes out even, that means it divides evenly. This doesn't divide evenly, so that's the right answer. Okay, real quick, just before you start your stuff, let me just give you a couple scenarios when these decimal and fraction problems get a little weird on you, how to handle them. So let's look at this one. 4.31 minus x equals 2.1. Let's just go with that. That doesn't look any weirder than the last one, does it? What's the most number of decimal places in that problem? 2. Okay. How many does this have?
2.
How many does this have?
None.
None, right? And what I want to get across to you here is there's a 1 in front of that x, officially, and that 1 has to have 2 decimal places after it. So minus 1.00x. A lot of people don't do that. They'll just keep it x. They'll change all the decimals to the same number of decimal places, but just leave x. They don't modify that. So again, there's an understood 1 there. That has to have 2 decimal places. 1.00x equals 2.10. Now that everything has 2 decimal places now, 431 minus 100x equals 210, and then you complete it from there. Subtract 431 from both sides, divide by negative 100. For fractions, a similar thing might happen. 2/3 x minus 7 equals 1/2. Let's say it's that problem. 7 is not a fraction, all right? But again, if I write this on my paper, that's the homework problem. 2x over 3 minus 7. I might put that 7 over 1 just so it looks like a fraction equals 1/2. The common denominator here is 6, right? Divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 2x is 4x. 6 divided by 1 is 6 times 7 is minus 42. 6 divided by 2 is 3 times 1 is 3. Make sure that even though this is not a fraction, we're still multiplying by that common denominator. It just doesn't divide. Divided by 1 doesn't change it. So basically just 6 times 7 is 42. Alright, so make sure that if you have non-fractions, they're still getting multiplied even though they're not fractions. Sometimes people think there's different rules for different types of things, but there aren't. The distributive property is what's happening. Every number gets equally multiplied by the outside number. So just keep that in mind if you're going to get rid of fractions, decimals. Again, it's not a requirement to do so, but I'd recommend doing it. It makes the problems a lot easier. It's worth doing. Also gives you good practice into modifying decimals and and multiplication by common denominator, which is real simple.